Welcome to another session of Member Spotlight, a series where we bring the faces and voices of Evolution One to life. Today, we're with Julie Szekely, an esteemed member of our community who's been with us for 6, 7 years, almost since the beginning, if not the beginning, right, Julie?
Mm-hmm.
Welcome.
Thank you. It's a pleasure and an honor to be here.
Yeah, we were just talking about how there's so little, even though Julie is an ambassador and she's been involved in many in-person, online programs. There's so much that I learned about her just in the first 5 minutes. That the pronunciation of her name is Hungarian, and it's nothing like you would see on the screen. So we're already learning so much about you, Julie. And I'm grateful to share this space with you today. Before we dive deeper into the layers of your spiritual journey, let's begin by meeting you, the human. So, for anyone who may be new to you, including me, who you're not new to, could you share a little bit about who you are? Like, where do you call home right now? And what do you do for a living in your day-to-day world?
So I'm on the East Coast of Massachusetts, of the US in Massachusetts, north of Boston. And I originated here and then have returned here after living in various other places. Um, the work that I have been doing the last number of years since COVID has mostly been working here, volunteering here, and working on and off as an ambassador or a facilitator before that, and a member before that at Ascension One. This has been my mainstay of my world, which kind of blew up when, along with everyone else's, when COVID arrived. And I'm in the middle right now of rebooting my business that I had before then as a medical intuitive energy healer, Reiki master, uh, and basically that I had been doing that part-time and being a full-time mom before COVID, and now I'm starting up my restarting the business doing that, incorporating a whole new worldview of healing and life and everything from the amazing journey that I've had here at Ascension. Sorry, Evolution One. Still go back to that.
That's okay. All the OGs still call it Ascension One.
Yeah.
And that's still our official name, Ascension One Collective.
Yay. So I'm not that.
No, no, that's it. And you do have a passion for human design. We've talked about that often. And every time we mention human design or we're in conversation around human design, Julie's eyes just light up about that. Do you want to tell us a little bit more about your passion for human design?
Well, I incorporate that into my practice as well. I do not claim to give a true reading. I think the OGs of human design, which I don't claim to be because human design goes back several decades before I met it about 8 years ago, um, they consider the mark of being someone who can read, someone who's been practicing it for 7 years and studying it and passing all the certifications. It's an amazing, amazing system that just tells you things about yourself that you were unconsciously aware of and hadn't really pinpointed. It just is like it breaks you open and tells you things. It helps you. For me, the greatest benefit I received from it, which is why I like to share what I call an energetic basic mini reading. I don't
Hmm.
claim, even though I've
Sure.
lived it for 8 years, and I have taken a lot of courses, and I was just short of getting certified in it, but then came along Evolution One, and I had to split it was a horrible, difficult choice, but I don't regret what I chose because the energy work and the what we're bringing to the world in this group is just, there's no words for it. So, but human design is another amazing gift to the world. It's just something fabulous. And but I never made the certification level, so I only give a part of the reading that's relevant to the growth and the expansion that's needed for people to use my abilities of being able to see into their body and bring flush through higher level energies and bring about a catalysis of healing. That can't happen without them opening to themselves emotionally and letting go of mental barriers and whatnot. And human design is just a wonderful system for helping people, especially when a lot of the mental layers are so hard to peel back.
Yeah, sure.
We can accomplish them in the in our in the channel, going into
Hmm.
the field, we can accomplish amazing things. Human
Hmm.
design kind of helps speed up some parts of it or unclog pieces of it. So that's why I added in to the practice. But it's a fabulous uh, uh, system.
Well, I appreciate how passionate and how precise and how true you are to the authenticity of that work and all the work that you encounter. And it feels like you have been on a spiritual path and you have integrated a spiritual path into your professional career. I'm wondering when you what catalyzed this spiritual awakening for you? Was there a moment or a phase in your life when you realized there was something deeper calling you that just didn't quite fit? Or did it arrive as a whisper or a disruption or curiosity?
Well, I would say there were two moments for me. One was I was always spiritually curious and tinkering since very, very young. And I attribute a lot of that to the period of time I was living in Mexico City, and my grandmother, who I just, we had a very close relationship. My abuelita was incredibly spiritual, and she put that imprint on me.
Mm.
So I went through my life with a lot of spiritual curiosity, looking into meditations and different practices. But after I had my child, something strange. I started having abilities and not realizing that other people didn't have them. It was
Mm.
kind of weird. Like I could see he had a lot of issues, physical issues, and I could see them, and the doctors couldn't see what I saw, and I never understood that.
Ah.
And that I didn't become aware of how that was just me and they couldn't see it until a friend of mine a number of years later gave me as a gift Reiki classes, that participation in these Reiki classes, which I had no idea what they were. And when I got in and into them and found out how non-science they were, being from a science family, I was horrified that I'd joined this. I was like, oh my God, this is like voodoo. But all through the class, these weird things, these capabilities were coming through that I'd seen bits and pieces of since my son was born. But everyone in the class was like, oh my God, how is that happening with her? And by the end of the class, they were like, so when are you going to open your practice? And I have to say, I freaked out. I swept it under the carpet and pretended it never happened. I never told anyone in my family that I had taken the class. I was too ashamed and embarrassed because they're all
Yeah.
engineers and, eggheads. And I was like, no way, I'm not telling them about this. So, anyway, eventually, after a healer's crisis and my all kinds of stuff, I eventually told them and had to deal with their reactions, some positive, some negative. But that was one huge. I had to choose. My left side of my body shut down completely, and for
Oh.
months I could barely get up the stairs into my home and all these terrible things. And I found out from my doctors all said there's really nothing wrong. So I went to a
Wow.
Reiki master who said, your science side of your brain is disagreeing with this uh, other side, which is obviously in many past lives, you've been a healer and all these instincts are coming through and you're trying to shut them down. And I'm like, past lives, oh God, I don't want to hear about that either. I was so anti all this stuff. And she said, you have to decide whether you're just going to throw away this gift or are you going to do something with it? And your body is battling for that decision. So
Mm.
I eventually came around to realizing, whoa, I'm not just here to be a mom and have a career and be a daughter and a sister and, play my little life. I actually have an opportunity, an obligation, a responsibility. I have this gift that it would be outrageous for me to throw it away.
Yeah.
So I have to make my life more about this, less about this, and more about having an impact on others. And I never I've always seen myself too small to do something like that. So that was one big step. And when I arrived at um, in the right when COVID was happening, and this beautiful channel work was showing up, and I was in dire need of, I knew that some instinct just said, I need to purify, I need to purify, because I could no longer do healings because all kinds of disasters had happened and I hadn't taken the time to clear and process them with my little child that I had to take care of and everything. And something told me, no, you need to go get purified, and it has to be something potent. No, no, but none of the local healers could touch what I had. So when I came upon what was Ascension One at the time, and I started listening to the words of the guides, I realized, oh my God, I could have an even bigger impact. Just number one, by clearing myself, I can clear
Mhm.
my part of the pool of humanity. And then number two, by being part of this effort, I can hold a higher energy level, a higher vision, a higher possibility, just that higher frequency that we create in our field web, channel
Mhm.
openings is just, it blew me away that I could be part of something that could have such an impact on humanity, especially knowing how badly humanity needs it. And that was an incredible realization and huge step up in my spiritual journey, because again, I wasn't about just that my little clients and my little world. It
Yeah.
brought me out into, no, we're all part of the fabric of this humanity. This, we're all parts of love of creation. We're all, there's a beautiful, I'm gonna, sorry, jump ahead. You're gonna ask me if there
Yeah.
was a transmission that I that I liked.
Psychic.
Yeah, if you were to ask me about one transmission, I'll give you the quote later, but there was one that talked about how our work on ourselves impacts everyone else. It just, everything about the information that came through the transmissions seemed like obvious reality that I already knew, but I didn't know.
Yeah.
And it wasn't a question. It was just of course I need to be part of this.
Yeah.
And of course I need to open up my spiritual um, self to be an active, dedicated, and committed member for this group, because this is what it's all about. And so I went from this to this. So yeah, sorry, little long.
That's okay. It's beautiful. You bring up two very important concepts, and two concepts that I think so many people can resonate with. It's like the first is the resistance to the awakening, right? And the second is helping ourselves helps others. And those are two things that, people, they get sick or they feel anxious, or they have this pit in their stomach that they walk around with and they don't understand where it's coming from. And they put all sorts of definitions on it or all sorts of stories around it. But what ultimately it is this resistance to the inner evolution that is meant to come through us. It's naturally wanting to express itself. The new Julie, the new Crystal, the new, person that we want to be in this next moment, that we have this urge that's coming through us. And as we resist it because of the constructs that we've built or that society has built for us, that we believe that we must remain inside, it causes this stress and strain and constriction.
Yes.
And so I think that what you speak to is the very real example of opening to this idea of, hey, there's something more out there for me. beyond the science and beyond the engineering and beyond the things that people can um research, right? And beyond our conditioning of what our families believe that we should have in our lives. So it's beautiful that you're bringing that up and you're voicing that for the collective and for this community. The other aspect that even um, touches me and the major transformation that's happened within me as a result of this work is this ability to give myself permission to even celebrate the fact that my own healing creates a ripple effect of healing within my families, my friends, my communities, and even within systems, and that I make a difference. And that's a journey that you and I have been on together. I feel very connected to you in that aspect of the journey, as well as I'm sure many of others who are listening and watching will feel that same way too. It's like the guilt that we feel for, or the what would be classified as selfishness, is actually service to
Hmm.
humanity. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. I feel that too. Hmm.
Yeah. So thank you for that. And yes, we're going to share that excerpt that you say that you wrote down many years ago in a quote book. We'll share that excerpt with the community so that they can feel that the energy and the resonance of those words. So you're also an ambassador, and an ambassador to this work is somebody who has consciously chosen to be in deep service to this community, supporting this community through holding energetic space for courses and trainings, to be an energetic support and a host for our Living Alignment membership offerings. And during public transmissions, we call upon the help of the ambassadors to sit and to hold that space for all of those who are sitting in meditation with us. And this is something that I shared with somebody yesterday who was asking me about the work that we do and telling me about all of the guided meditations that he doesn't have patience for. And I said, well, in the work that we do, the words don't really matter so much because we've created an energetic VIP room for you to step into. And we're there to hold the experience while you feel the energy behind the words. And you are allowed to not even listen to the words. And in that, there's an acceleration of understanding of what silence is. There's an experience of silence. There's an experience of alignment. There's an experience of presence that you can get to so much quicker when you've stepped into our curated VIP energetic room. Right? And so as an ambassador, you hold that, that specific role. Have there been places where holding space has stretched you or revealed anything unexpected?
Yeah. Actually, early on in our ambassador training,
Mhm.
um, there were there was a point where the the transmissions have always been uber powerful, but we were having a number of them kind of close together and getting blown away by these transmissions. I mean, they were brutal. And now they seem, I think because everyone on the planet has evolved, we're getting showered with all these energies and we're all getting more accustomed to and toughened up to handle the transmissions better. So now they're more, uh, they're incredibly more powerful, but they land in a gentler way,
Mhm.
which is which allows for functioning afterwards a bit better. But at the time, I remember we had a rash of them very close together, and it was like, I can barely sit up straight, let alone uh, holding a group right now. And George had gotten us together at the time. He was in charge of all of our, he gave us amazing foundational training for being ambassadors. And he said, well, we discovered that there's a secret to being able to get through very powerful transmissions and then turn around and hold space for the community. And we were all leaning forward, waiting to hear the secret. And he said, you just have to man up. I was like,
Uh,
I was waiting for some, special grounding process or something like that. But he just said, you got to just, and that was I felt, no, I can't. And yet I could. I did it.
mm,
We did it. We were able to hold space after getting through powerful, powerful transmissions. And I think we all amazed ourselves, on the one hand, and then on the other hand, this being an entrepreneurial environment, very much living in divine timing, where the guides only give us the next step in front and not 3 steps ahead. So all the direction that was coming in for how to run these first initial courses with a bunch of ambassadors on board, um, wasn't coming through in necessarily the most well prepared ways.
uh,
So suddenly we'd be asked to hold groups, to have people go through practices and for us to be able to watch them in the field going through the practices to make sure they were okay with that they were getting held properly. And so we were being told, so we'll need you to be watching the participants, make sure no one's falling out of the field and that they're all, they're all well coordinated. And we're thinking, how are we everyone was like, we're going to do what? And you just said, trust yourself, you can do it. Just, we wouldn't be asking this if we didn't know you could do it.
yeah.
And these were skills that we didn't know where we were going to get them or how it was going to happen. We just went in saying, okay, I don't know how it's going to happen, but we're going to go in there and we're going to hold the space. We're going to run the practices. We're going to have them go through this exercise and we're going to be able to see who needs support and that everyone is still coherent in the field. And lo and behold, just going in with that belief system, it actually worked. And that stretched it caused, I have to say, it caused stress for many and anxiety, but we learned, if you
Yeah.
just believe it and trust in the energies, trust that if you're being asked to step up in your life to provide something that you feel is beyond yourself, but you kind of have a feeling it's the way is there, just trust it. And that level of stretching and fear bouncing into formidable, amazing capability
Hmm.
made that was one of the most stretching parts for me of holding space, but it was the biggest gift. It was just the most amazing experience, and I've carried that through into my life and other experiences, and that was an ultimate gift. And that kind of stretching is part of being an ambassador. It is part of, we're not walking in expecting to think, oh, well, we've created, much to your credit and the team's credit and what we contributed to it, but you and the team are amazing. You've created an amazing amount of guidance and supporting tools for delivering courses. But to be part of this organization in the operations of it means accepting that we're not always going to know in advance what we need to do or how to do it. We need to run in divine timing that says the skill will come when it's time. Trust, just be
Mhm.
open to trust, be open to be flowing with it and not expecting everything to go the way you think it needs to go to be prepared to do things. So all that has been a new way of innovating and operating in divine, you know, not just
Flow,
divine timing, but divine existence
flow. Yeah.
that's blown my mind. And I think what a gift, what amazing gifts I've had from this being in this group. I feel very fortunate and blessed, really.
Thank you. Thank you for that. I am laughing because it is a level, and I've shared that with you all as ambassadors. It's like our name is Evolution One. We are focused on the evolution
Absolutely.
of human consciousness, which means that we are never resting on our laurels. It's just not in our nature. We're always going to be evolving. So being in that flow and trusting, as you said, is so important. And that resilience training, right? You had mentioned about getting really impacted about during a couple of those transmissions back to back, and that was, light needing a new level of density within your being to be transformed and transmuted, right? So that you can be more in service, that you can be more embodied. And being able to, when that was mentioned, man up, woman up, um, it was it was about recognizing what is, you know, and you all did get through it, and it was beautiful. But we've definitely been through a ride together, and for me, it's very exciting to witness and guide a group like the ambassadors through a journey of here's what we know, and here's what we don't know, and here's what has to change, and watching you all evolve as a group and as individuals. So thank you for being part of that ambassador team and for being a representative of the ambassadors, especially as we move forward into our next adventures, and you become more and more capable of holding um, independently of maybe even a group container that is hosted by a seal or myself, or something live. So we appreciate that.
Thank
So how do you is there a way that you bring the energy and teachings of Evolution One into your daily life, or your daily relationships? Like, what does it look like for you in a practical and lived way to incorporate Evolution One and the work? Are there any
Well,
practices that anchor you, or ways you return to alignment when like life gets busy or hectic or chaotic?
um, I've really colored my life with these practices from the moment I wake up. The first thing before I even open my eyes, I start opening my body to the energies, getting in alignment, choosing. When all these thoughts, my brain always turns on with, oh no, we got to do this, and I just right away say, no, 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 I'm choosing the light, I'm choosing the light, I'm choosing the love of creation right now, I'm aligning, and I just bring calm. And I that auto button that I still shows up. I don't know if I'll ever get rid of it, but the launches into things. I just let it go, let it float away, and bye bye. And I just work on before I even open my eyes. I am aligning and feeling, opening myself to the energies and feeling them running through my body, feeling myself coming into full alignment with the earth and up into the cosmos. And then I'll open the field and just run energies through myself in the field. And then I will try to I'll pick out some, either a morning meditation from the most recent course, or I might do some of the if I'm struggling, which is
Hmm.
so much of the time, I will pick something that from the daily alignments. That's my time to do a daily alignment, because then
Hmm.
it kind of sets my energy for the day. I've
Hmm.
learned to respect the fact that those daily alignments are uber powerful. And if I do too many, and maybe this is because I'm energetically very sensitive, but if I do too many of those, I'm just gonna I'm gonna need a period of my morning to recover from them. So I have
Hmm.
to be careful to only do one or two so that they boost me up, and I'm not releasing so much that I'm knocked out for my morning. But and then all during the day when I'm in my kitchen cooking, I
Yeah.
try to cook in the field, is the way I would call it.
Hmm.
And I'm trying to keep grounded as I'm cooking, and bringing gratitude for the food, all the foods that I'm preparing, that I'm blessed to have from our mother Gaia. And then as I'm going into, meetings or Zooms, I try to, this I'm getting better at. I've not always been as good at this. I try to remember to then refocus and ground myself. If it's a evolution one event, it's part of my procedure to just ground, get into alignment, open the field, get myself very, very settled. And in fact, if it's a big event, I'll go out and walk in nature before doing any of
Hmm.
um, for if I don't have that going on, I try to keep my walks in nature as regular as I can. They're a major foundational piece of my healing, my maintenance and healing. And when I go out there, I'm also I'm enjoying it, but I get to one or two places where I will stop and close my eyes and uh, come into alignment and open the channel and feel the connection of all the plants, all the trees,
Hmm.
and the lake around me. So I'll connect to everything, and I'll give gratitude for the beautiful woods that are near my house that I go to. And then I'll um, give my offering of gratitude by bringing some energy in to for them
Hmm.
from the channel.
Hmm.
So in nature, I'm doing in my meetings. I try to stay grounded, and then things trying to, my big challenge is the mind runs away. And next
Hmm.
thing I know, it's been 3 hours, and I've not even thought of my energetic situation. And then I'm like, oh my God, okay, let's hurry up and get back and get
Or.
grounded, get back. So all day long, I'm trying to return to the
Hmm.
nest, you could
Hmm.
say, and
Hmm.
and get myself back into that nourishing, grounding, calming, centered state. And
Hmm.
I keep falling out of the nest. The brain drags me away. And on my worst days, I might spend 5 or 6 hours not even thinking of the energetics. And at the end of the day, I try not to beat myself up and say, no, 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 but at least you noticed it. This is good. And there is
Exactly.
some time that we need to use the brain. The brain is
Of
not there
course.
to be ignored and suppressed and thrown away.
Yeah.
It's just that if I get too much into it for too many hours, I notice I get keyed up, and I think
Hmm.
that's excitement, but it's also some resistance of my body saying, hello, come back. So and then by the end of the day, as I'm going back into cooking dinner, that's my signal to get back into the energies and ground myself and align myself as I'm cooking dinner. And I carry that through to the end of my night, with
Beautiful.
trying to again at bedtime, I put myself to bed with energies running through me, to asking for the energies to help me uh, uh, receive a peaceful sleep. And that's the end of my day. So it's a
Wow.
it's it's my goal to um, flavor my days as much as I can, support myself. And through that, when I'm with others, be it online or in person,
Mhm.
especially when I'm in person, I really, even at the supermarket or if I'm at a gathering, I'm more conscious of at some point saying, "Oh, don't get too lost in what's going on here. Let's get grounded. Let's hold
Mhm.
some beautiful uh, space here, so that whoever needs it in this group, I'm just bringing love for everybody." And it's a ongoing process to remember frequently enough to do that.
I love that. And it's so interesting that you're sharing this now because that is another aspect of what I was sharing with this friend of mine who, and mind you, we were sitting in traffic. It's Miami Art Week here, and we were going from one exhibit to another, and we were in like traffic for an hour and a half to go 2 miles. And it started out by him saying, aren't you totally stressed out about driving in this traffic? And I was like, no, I'm actually not. And he said, well, do you notice all the honking that doesn't bother you? And I said, I don't even hear it. But there are times when I'm not in alignment, and but I'm recognizing earlier when I'm not in alignment and I'm catching myself. So I love all of these wisdom, these bits of wisdom that you're bringing through. And I love cooking in the field. I think it's maybe something that we need to, maybe we'll start up a little like YouTube TV show, like cooking, members cooking in the field with their
Yeah,
creations are.
I've developed some practices in there that yeah, might be useful for others. They're
Okay.
gifts for me. Yeah.
That is a follow-up. That's a follow-up episode of Member Spotlight. I know I'm keeping you, and there's this one other burning question though, if I may. Um, so if you could give one piece of advice to a member who is just starting out in their journey, that could be um, they've just started into foundations and are considering the pathways, but they're going to go on a journey, right? Um, if you could give them one piece of advice for their journey, what would that be?
Oof. Well, well, um, I would say know that it's not meant to be easy all the time. When I started, there were some people that were in utter bliss, and I was not during a lot of their beginning time. And everyone gets their good times and their bad times, and they come at the timing for them. So don't compare yourself to others, but do know that you're not alone. You're not alone in what you're there's no whatever permutation, there's pieces of it that others have had, and you're so held not just by this community, all the energies that we and the caring that is put to that is an integral part of how this community was built, was out of caring and great love and devotion for all of humanity. And it's not just the community, it's also the guides, the energy from the guides. For a long time, I did not feel when I was going into the field like I was receiving love. I kept on saying, why are people feeling bliss? Why are people feeling so loved? And I did not feel that. And it's only been more recently that I realized that I didn't feel it because I wasn't choosing to let it in. So I would say you need to, we've been in this society where you go to the doctor and they fix you. You go to the
Mm-hmm.
mechanic and they fix your car and you get a pill to fix your problems. And what we're being called to is to realize that we need to choose love, we need to choose health, we need to choose our wholeness for ourselves. We're given all the support here to receive it, but it takes, and it just because it took me years longer than everyone else doesn't mean that that there was anything wrong with me. It was just my timing of when I could finally realize, oh, it's not coming in because I'm not fully choosing it. I'm waiting for someone else to tell me I deserve it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm waiting. And you know what? I need to tell myself I deserve it. I'm waiting for someone else to see me. And now I realize I'm the one who needs to see me. And once you can really choose it and say, I choose myself to love, I choose to see myself, it doesn't really matter who else. Everyone else who sees you or loves you is just the frosting on the cake. But you need to choose yourself. And if you can't, there's nothing wrong with that. It will happen. Just trust, 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 trust. Above all else, the biggest message I could say is just have trust that all these things, as what's important is that you try and that you open yourself and that you hang in there through the tough times, enjoy the good times, that and you'll have both here and they'll come maybe very close together to each other and you'll be like, just enjoy it, it's gone again, I'm in the depths of darkness again, what the hell. But no, just trust that it every time you go down, you're going to come back up. And when you do, you're going to find yourself stronger and
Mm-hmm.
more fulfilled with more amazing gems that you have to bring to the world. And
Mm-hmm.
every one of us has gems to bring forward to the world. Every one of us, no doubt. So be the gem, bring yourself forward and just hang through with trust. Trust, trust, trust.
Mm.
That would be my
Thank you. Thank you, Julie. I appreciate that. Um, Before we end, I want to share a personal experience of how you have contributed to my own healing. And we've talked about this tangentially, but I would love to surface this because as a member spotlight and as you as a community member and for being with us for so long, I want people to understand the power of our community. And we had the opportunity to see each other in person a couple of years ago. And I was having some severe and chronic pain in my foot. And we were sitting on the couch, just chit-chatting, and you said, "Oh, let me look into it for you." And when you looked into it, you could share with me what was actually happening, which I had no, in a million years, I couldn't have figured that out, and neither would have a doctor. It was information that about lineage and my ancestors and things that were being expressed like in my physical body. And you said, um, I've done as much as I can, but you need to go and you need to sit with grandmother medicine, which is ayahuasca. And at the time, I had no intention of ever doing ayahuasca. I hadn't felt called to that medicine. But I found myself with the opportunity to do so only 6 months later. And I went to the jungle and I went with a big um, prayer, um, that being a very small piece of it. But it turned out that that whole ancestral healing piece um, became the whole theme of the 10 days that I was there. And finally, the last night, the focus came into my foot, and I was able to receive a healing from one of the master shamans on my foot. And I haven't had that pain since then, literally.
Yay!
So it's a testament to um, not only your ability to see what's happening and to read what's happening, but to also share what's not yours to heal, right? And to relay those messages to that person, so that person can get to that next level in healing. So thank you for that, Julie. And I know that members of our community, you've done that for other members of our community, and members of our community have done that for one another. And beyond the transmissions and the sitting in practices and the sitting in trainings, it's about that off the mat, off the tile um, interaction that makes this community so strong. So, Julie, thank you. Thank you for everything that you've shared here today. And thank you to our community for tuning in and listening. And we look forward to our continued journey with you, Julie. And we will see you very soon. Thank you again.
Thank you, Crystal. It was a joy and an honor to be here. This is really beautiful. Thank you. Thank you for the invitation.
Take care.
You too.